Verizon, the most reliable 5G in St. Louis.
The pitch by Romero, a swing and a hot shot to second. Fermin has it and throws out Ramos for a Redbird winner in San Francisco. 3 up, 3 down for the Giants in the ninth, and this ball game has come to an end with the Cardinals winning game 1 of their final road trip by a score of 6-5.
That's a good win for the Cardinals tonight. Welcome in. It is the Extra Innings Show right here on KMOX. My name is Matt Pauley. Thank you so much for staying up so late with us as we are past midnight now. The Extra Innings Show, it is being presented by Graybar. Graybar is your distributor for electrical and datacom needs. Multiple ways to get in contact with the program. If you would like to do so, you can call or text 314-436-7900. 314-436-7900. Again, that's how you call or text. You can tweet at me at Matt Pauley on air, MattPauley on air, or you can leave a comment in the chat. For those of you who are watching our video stream, we are on Facebook, we are on YouTube, and we are also on Twitter, and we are available for you. You can leave a comment about this Cardinals game tonight. I always like to do this, by the way, on nights where we are getting underway after midnight. We love our 104.1 FM signal, but we also love our 11:20 a.m. signal. And one of the amazing things about the 11:20 a.m. signal is basically it gets nationwide coverage. So if you are listening to us outside of the St. Louis area, who knows where you might be listening from. Anywhere across the country, just about. Drop us a text and just tell me where you are listening from. And I always enjoy seeing that. You know, if you want to say something about the Cardinals game, feel free. But if you just want to tell me where you're at, that would be great. 314-436-7900. 314-436-7900. I always say that, between growing up in St. Louis and then spending 20 years away from St. Louis before getting back, one of my favorite things was when the Cardinals would be playing West Coast games, because I would be getting done with my baseball games late, whether it was when I was working in the minor leagues or working in Milwaukee, and I'd be driving home and I would be able to go listen in to 11:20 a.m. and listen to Cardinals baseball from the various places that I've lived in my life, and it's just a lot of fun. So the power of 11:20 a.m. Again, text in 314-436-7900 and share where you are listening from tonight, and we might mention some of those as we do go along. Good win for the Cardinals. I appreciate, and honestly, it's a little bit unexpected, because when you get to this point of the year, when you're not playing for a lot of times you see teams like that not win ball games. Now, that's not always a true thing, because look at the Atlanta Braves right now. The Braves have been eliminated from playoff contention, and they just keep winning game after game after game. I believe it was their 9th straight win tonight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 9th straight win tonight for the Braves. So I give a lot of credit. I think it's very hard to have that extra edge that you need to win Major League Baseball games when you're not playing for much of anything. And that's what the Cardinals are in a situation right now where, yes, they might be not yet officially eliminated from postseason contention. We can look at the standings and say they're not playing for a whole lot right now, yet they just took 2 out of 3 from Milwaukee. And now they take this first game against the Giants. And the Giants are kind of in the same spot as the Cardinals. The two teams have the exact same record. A quick update, by the way, for those of you who have been with us since the network. I mentioned the fact that the Padres and the Brewers were going to an 11th inning, tied 4-4. The Padres were able to get out of the top of the inning with the Brewers having a bases loaded 1-out situation. And then in the bottom of the inning, the Padres win 5-4. And with that, San Diego has just clinched a playoff spot. So the Padres are going to be celebrating tonight in their home clubhouse. So that's going to be going on right now. So the playoff field in the National League is continuing to get a little bit more solidified. We are keeping a very close eye, and they weren't playing tonight, but the Mets, the Reds, and then the Diamondbacks being one game back, that's really the thing we're watching in the National League here over this final week of the season. Sam has gotten in here on the video stream, says, good win, a nice win, and the bullpen was awesome once again. McGreevy wasn't great, but he hung in there without his best stuff. Yeah, Sam, I agree with all that. When there's not a lot of season left and there's not a lot to play for, it's hard to talk about like the long range implications of something. If what we would have seen tonight happened a few weeks ago, what I would be talking about right now is the importance of the innings and the outs that they got tonight from Ryan Fernandez and to a lesser extent John King. Fernandez has really obviously struggled this year, right? Like that's I'm not breaking any news on that one. He's got a +7 ERA. And even in his time, he's been a little bit better since coming back from Memphis, but not a lot better. And we saw last year how good he can be, and he just hasn't been able to repeat that this year. So when I see him coming into the game in the 6th inning of a game that the Cardinals are leading by 1 run, like that piqued my interest. And I didn't feel great about it in the moment. I understand where the team was at because of who wasn't available. Neither Matt Swanson or Riley O'Brien was available, so that resulted in unique usage of the bullpen tonight. But Fernandez came in and did his job. Not only did he pitched multiples, he got 4 outs today, so he went an inning and a third. That was a really good step forward for Ryan Fernandez. And we don't know how many more outings he's going to have before the season comes to an end. We don't know what his future looks like, but at least for now, that was a good step forward. So I feel very good about that for Fernandez, because he's going to want to finish off the season as strong as possible and then be in line to compete for a job in spring training next year, knowing that he's going to be competing for a job coming off a season where he's going to have a +7 ERA. Nothing's going to be guaranteed for Ryan Fernandez next year. The other part of that is, and I think Katie Wu asked about this in the post-game meeting with Oliver Marmol. It was about a week ago where Marmol was lamenting the fact that the kind of the B group of relief pitchers, that nobody had really stepped forward. That you felt really good. You felt really good about the bullpen when you had O'Brien and Romero and Swanson and Leahy all available. But if any of those guys were not available and you had to go to that next group, well, none of that next group had been especially good. And that was the cost of selling at the deadline. The bullpen still has done a pretty solid job this year, but that was the cost of making the moves that they did when they traded away the 3 relief pitchers. Well, at least for one night, we see Fernandez and King each step forward, and I think that was notable. Let's grab a text message that has come in. Text message asking, I get this question every once in a while. Okay, so we have a message from Denver. I said earlier, wherever you're listening, to let me know. That's I lived in Colorado Springs for a while. I listened to a lot of Cardinals games on 1120 when I was driving around Colorado for sure. So from Denver says, please discuss why Victor Scott II bunts so frequently, and even with 2 outs, his batting average is lower than Gorman and Walker. At time, pains me to watch Gorman, Walker, and Scott bat. Yeah, I think you kind of nailed it there. Scott bunts so often because he's just trying to get on base, and his speed is a real thing. Now, he's not getting on base with these bunts. There's some close plays every once in a while, but he's not getting on base. So what gives him a better chance to reach? The opportunity to put down a bunt to go or swing away. And right now it feels like the bunt, and the other side of it too is when he's bunting with a runner on, at least something positive is happening. You know, I don't think those are straight sacrifices. They go down as sacrifices. I don't think they are straight sacrifices. He's kind of bunting for a base hit, but if he doesn't make it, at the very least, he's going to get the runner over. So there's a way to use him from a positive standpoint using the bunt, where if he's bunting for a base hit, and if it works, that's great. If it doesn't work, at least you've gotten something positive. I get this question every once in a while. This came in from the 314, and the answer is never going to change. Asking me, do I ever wish I was still in Milwaukee because of the Brewers winning so much? And the answer to that is absolutely not. I wish the Cardinals would win as much as the Brewers have won. But outside, I'm not lying when I say this. I've gotten this question a lot lately. So people who listen every night have heard this answer a few times. Outside of like the major life things happening for me, getting married, having kids, all that sort of stuff, getting back home to St. Louis and getting to KMOX and being able to work on the St. Louis Cardinals radio network and host Sports Open Line and all of that stuff, it's the greatest thing that has happened to me in my life. Again, outside of the personal stuff like having kids and being married. But I'm so glad to be here, and I've never once regretted it. Now it's up to the Cardinals, and it's up to Chaim Bloom and company moving forward to go ahead and get this thing chugging along once again, so we can see the Cardinals win a lot of games and win the division and have a better record than the Brewers. So a question like that would never be asked of me again, because obviously the answer is going to be being in St. Louis is the better place to be from a baseball standpoint. And it's going to get there. I've got a lot of confidence in Chaim Bloom and company that it is going to get there. The Extra Inning Show is being presented by Gray Bar. Gray Bar is your distributor for electrical and datacom needs. If you want to hop in here, you can do so by calling or texting 314-436-7900, 314-436-7900. You can tweet at me at Matt Pauley on Pauley on air, or you can just leave a comment on the video chat for those of you who are watching on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We appreciate you staying up so late with us tonight. Cardinals get a good win over the San Francisco Giants 6-5, and we'll be back with more coming up in just a moment. It's the Extra Inning Show here on KMOX.
When you own a business, you know there's no shortage of bold moments. At VOS, we're here to help you meet those moments in stride. Whether it's reducing your exposure to check fraud, setting up direct deposit, or helping make credit card processing seamless, VOS is here for you, your employees, and your customers. Are you ready for a better banking experience? Then make the bold move and switch to VOS today. Visit bankwithvos.com. Member FDIC.
You know Gray Bar for electrical parts, but there's one more thing you may not be thinking of us for that can help maximize your next project's total value. Our pre-project planning services are designed to help you win the bid, save on labor costs, and keep your installers productive across your entire build. The sooner you call us, the better, because when we're there from the beginning, we can anticipate your needs and help you solve problems before they become problems. Yep, Gray Bar does that.
Now, back to the Verizon Extra Inning Show.
Cardinals come away with the win tonight. They knock off the San Francisco Giants. Welcome in, as John Rooney likes to say, it's the late show, 12:18 a.m. Glad to be talking to you. If you want to chime in, 314-436-7900, 314-436-7900. You can also tweet at me, at Matt Pauley on air, MattPauley on air, or you can leave a comment in the video chat, and we will get to those as we go along. We've got Claire, our Cards fan in Cincinnati, saying that she's still locked in, saying it's late in Cincinnati Eastern time zone. Yeah, so it's 1:20 in the morning. Thank you, Claire, for sticking around. Adds that when she was growing up in New York City, she would listen to KMOX at night on transistor radio. That's great stuff. So no matter where you are listening across the country, if you want to share with us that here in the middle of the night when 11:20 a.m. sounds so great across the country, you can text in at 314-436-7900, 314-436-7900. Wanted to talk through the weird play that happens in this game, because it's the second inning. So JC leads the inning off with a double, gets to third on a ground out, and then Jordan Walker comes up to the plate. Walker fouls the ball off his leg, runs for some reason Umpires don't see that he fouled it off his leg. Sajacy comes off of third, but he sees that it went off Walker's leg, so he sees that it is clearly a foul ball, and they end up turning a double play because of it. And Oliver Marmol was livid, and rightfully so. The fact that he gave it to the umpire as much as he gave it to him and did not get run from this game would tell me that there was an acknowledgement from the umpire, an understanding from Andy Fletcher that they missed the call. But then we heard from Ollie in the post game, and he was asked whether or not he was given any clarification, and he was not. That's how I view it. Kyle Sixta, our producer, working late into the night as well. Kyle, am I seeing anything wrong there, or is that just a terribly missed call by some umpires?
Yeah, no, you're completely right. It completely went off Walker's foot. The biggest question for me is what you already said. Why did he run to first base? Why didn't he plead his case a little bit more, and maybe we could have gotten them together and make the right call there?
Yeah, you just stop. You hit the ball off. That's a foul ball. You just stop. And there's two things here. Thing number one is the umpires can't miss that call. But thing number two is Jordan Walker helps the umpires to miss that call. If Walker just stops, I'm guessing umpires are putting their hands up, foul ball. So I have not seen anything on social media yet. If Walker spoke to the media after the game today, but yeah, I'm just that was a weird play. That was I don't know if I've ever seen that one before.
I don't think I have either. And it's one of those plays we were talking about earlier. It's like, it's not reviewable, but I feel like it should be because it's just so obvious that it went off of Walker's foot. And that is clearly why Sajacy didn't run hard at home. When you watched it live and you didn't realize that it had gone off his foot, you're like, what is Sajacy doing? But then it makes perfect sense. Like it was a foul ball.
Yeah, one of my biggest issues with the replay system is, and this is not a boundary play, but I think it comes under the same concept of why it's not reviewable. They always say boundary plays on the infield are not reviewable, and I think the idea is you've got the first and third base umpires right there with a really good view. So like from a utopian standpoint, the idea of replay is to assist umpires on plays that maybe they don't have a best look at. So on a boundary play on the infield, an umpire has a really, really good view on that. So they're going to tell you don't need replay for it. The umpires are right where they need to be. I would suspect this kind of falls under the same thing where they're going to say, well, this is the type of play that's right there for umpires to be able to see. But that's never made sense to me, Kyle. You have a finite amount of challenges as a team. You should be able to challenge anything. Because if you're wrong, you're going to lose your challenges. If you're right, all you're doing is proving that you needed replay in that situation. So the concept of a non-reviewable play in baseball, I think makes zero sense whatsoever.
I completely agree. When you look at a close bang play at first base, you could say the first base umpire is right there to make that call. I don't understand what the difference between that and this is. I understand that, the base umpires are there to be able to see it, but it's a tough angle. You got the hitter blocking, with his whole body, blocking his foot and where the ball hit. You're 90 feet away from being able to see what actually happened. That's what review's there for, is to check on those plays.
100%. All right, a few more text messages are starting to come in. Our guy Ball Game says, tip of the cap goes to the bullpen. Raise the glass goes to Ollie for handling of basically two bullpens this year. The one before the trade deadline and the one after deserves recognition for handling it well. I agree with that. The bullpen is obviously very, very different after the trade deadline. And for the most part, with a hiccup here and a hiccup there, they have done a nice job of continuing to cover that. Got a text message from someone in Evansville. That's a city that is close to my heart. Spent the summer working with the Evansville Otters out there, one of my first baseball broadcasting jobs. Says, what do you think that we have in Herrera? I'm very excited about that guy. 30 home run potential is not a stretch at all. Do you think catching 4 to 5 days will impact that? I don't think he's going to catch 4 to 5 days a week. I know they are talking. So I'm frustrated on a couple of things. First off, there's this elbow thing that just popped up, and he says he's been dealing with it for 2 or 3 years. We talked about this a little bit today on Redbird Rush Hour, Kevin Wheeler, Bernie Miklasz, and myself. If he's been dealing with an elbow issue that's impacting his throwing for 2-3 years, why was he at Driveline last year doing a strengthening program to work on his throwing? That doesn't make sense to me. So that's the first thing. The second thing is they said they don't want him to catch because of the impact on his lower body. I don't feel like it's been answered if they've got a plan for it not to impact his lower body in the negative way anymore, because he had a couple lower body injuries this year when he was catching. When he stops catching, he hasn't been injured since. Small sample size, but that's something. I know it restricts your roster, and maybe I'm going to back up on this come next year. I'm fine with Ivan Herrera being someone who can catch, who maybe you throw out there behind the plate once, twice a week, but that's it. Like I don't want him catching 4 to 5 days a week. I don't think he's an especially good defensive catcher. I think you can be excited about what you have coming in Jimmy Crooks. Pedro Pajes has obviously established himself with this team. So if you have a 3-catcher situation on the roster where you've got Pajes, Crooks, and Herrera, and you want to start him once or twice a week, that's fine. But if he becomes the frontline catcher, that would worry me a little bit. We got a text message from Walton Beach, Florida, saying they're listening right there. A little bit of broken reception, but was able to catch most of the game between the statics. So that's good stuff, stuff like that. So we appreciate it. Let's see, we've got to Ed in Belleville texting in as well. And we appreciate that. Steve got in here. Let's see, where was Steve? Steve was Evansville, I believe. So appreciate everybody texting in to the program tonight and staying up late with us as we approach 12:30 in the morning after the Cardinals come away with a victory against the San Francisco Giants 6-5. What's on Deck is presented by Chesterfield Fence and Deck. The sign you have the very best, ChesterfieldFence.com. Game 2 of this series going to be coming up Tuesday night. Andre Palante on the mound for the Cardinals. The right-hander is 6-14, 5.23 ERA. This is an opportunity for him to take a little bit of momentum now into the offseason if he can have a good finish to his season. Logan Webb is going to go for the Giants, 14-11 and a 3.27 ERA. 8:45 first pitch Tuesday night. That means our coverage is going to begin at 7:50. We'll check the text line. Nothing else has come in. Doesn't look like it. So with that, I guess we'll go ahead and wrap things up tonight. Certainly appreciate you being tuned in. Means a lot that folks stick with us late into the night. Of course, if you ever can't listen to us late in the night, you can always check out the podcasted version the next day. The video stream is always archived. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, wherever it might be. It's on my Twitter at Matt Pauley on air. And you can catch that later as well. Thanks so much for being tuned in. Thanks to Kyle Sixta. He's working late into the night as well. And we'll talk to you again coming up on Tuesday for more Cardinals baseball here on your home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM. And, of course, tonight at 12:30 in the morning, we can't help but mention 11:20 a.m. KMOX. Talk to you tomorrow.
There is